Hello and welcome, dear students. Today we are going to study new lesson in our course English Language 1. Our lesson today is about simple sentence structure and tenses. So let's start with studying the structure of simple sentence. In English, simple sentence consists of one independent clause. An independent clause contains a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought. So when we want to define an independent clause, we can say an independent clause expresses a complete thought and contains a subject and a verb. Can make the formation of the sentence. For example, when we say Khalid likes coffee, here we can say this is an independent clause. Khalid is the subject and likes is the verb. Okay, and here we have some object. I like tea. I is the subject and like is the verb and tea is an object. When we say here, the earth goes around the sun. The earth is the subject and goes around is the verb and the sun is an object. The last one, the last example, Sarah did not go to the party. Sarah did not go to the party. Sarah is the subject and did not go is a negative form, okay, and of the verb, okay, and he will think of it as a form of negative for the verb. To go where? To go to the party, okay, and this is prepositional phrase, okay, phrase which tell us about what? Some place, that means it's an adverbial in English, okay. So these are the forms of what? Simple sentences, okay, and it mainly include independent clause. We said again, the independent clause includes subject and a verb. And one of the important things in the independent clause, or that make it unique, okay, is that an independent clause expresses a complete thought or complete idea. So here we can say the English sentence include mainly a subject and verb. Sometimes after the verb we'll find object, okay, and some other cases we'll find what? Complement. So the complement will come after what? After linking verbs, okay, like is, are, or the verb to be as one of the samples of what? Of the linking verbs. After linking verbs, we'll find what? A complement, not an object. And here we can say we have also some verb tenses for English language. And there is some different types of tenses. But the main questions that will come to our mind, what do we mean with verb tenses? Here, when we say verb tenses, we mean what? Times. Okay, and we can say verbs come in three tenses. First, past, present, and future. So The verbs come in three tenses: past, present, and future. The past is used to describe things that have already happened. That means they finished in the past time. That means the past. Okay. For example, earlier in the day, or even yesterday, someday before now or before today, last week, and 3 years ago. So here we think of them as the forms of what? Words which were the usage of past, okay, or past tense. The present tense is used to describe things that are happening right now, or things that are continuous. So for continuous things, or even things that happening right now, here to think of what? Present. Okay, so this is a form of present. The future, or the future tense, describe things that have yet to happen. The future tense describes things that have yet to happen. For example, later, tomorrow, next week, next year, 3 years from now. So we think of them as the forms of tenses. Okay. Again, English tenses are past, present, and future. Okay. So these are the verbs tenses, okay, of English. Okay, we have some diagram here that explain them. Verb tenses are past, present, and future. Here is a table that explains the proper usage of verb tenses. As you see, it includes the different types of tenses. So here, as you see, you can see the present simple, okay, and also the past simple, okay, and also the future simple, okay. So all of them are included in this table. So you can see present, past, and future, okay. Let's start with present forms. The present simple. When you say present simple, mainly we call it also as the rule of S, because the verb accept S when we use he, she, and it. We add to the verb after them S. For I, you, we, they, we use read without any additional S. So present simple is the rule of S. It tells us about some repeated action, about some facts, okay, about, yes, something that happened from time to time, okay. So in this case, we use present simple tense. And here we think of this example: I read a story every day, okay. The second tense is present continuous. And the present continuous tense is used for some action, okay, that happen at or around the time of speaking. And we use it with now, at this moment, or some other markers, okay. So when we find I as a subject, we should use what? Am plus verb plus ing. In case the subject is he or she or it, we should use is plus verb plus ing. And in case the subject is they or we should think of what? Are plus verb plus ing. And even with you, when we think or when we find you, we say you are plus verb plus ing. Okay, so here we have some example. I am reading a book at the moment. I am reading a book at the moment. Another form or another tense is present perfect tense. Here we think of some different words, okay, that can be used as a marker for this tense, okay. It's some action that happened or that happened in the past and have some relation with or some relationship with the current time, okay. So with recently, just, since, for, such type of words, okay, we should use the form of present perfect, which include has or have plus past participle of the verb. So when we find he or she or it, we should use has plus past participle form of the verb, or the third form of the verb. And when we find I, you, we, and they, we should think of have. We should use have. I would say I have, you have, we have, and they have plus past participle. So here in this example, I have read so many books. I can't keep count. Okay. So here I have read. Okay. Now read is the past participle of read. Here the base is, or the present form is read or reads, and the past simple form of read is read, and even the past participle form is read. The fourth form of the present tense, or he will find what? Present perfect continuous. And here the form include what? Have plus been plus verb plus ing. I have been reading since I was 4 years old. So in the same way of present perfect, here we think of present perfect continuous. I, you, we, they plus have plus been plus verb plus ing, and he, she, it plus has plus verb plus been plus verb plus ing. The second type of tenses is past. And here we have the past simple form. The past simple tell us about what? Some action that happened and finished in the past time. Maybe yesterday, before now, okay, maybe last week, last, okay. So here we should think of the form or the rule of ed, and we call the past simple as a rule, or generally as a rule of what? Ed. We add ed to the verb which, or to the verbs which are regular. For irregular verbs, we have some different forms. And here we think of read as irregular form because it doesn't accept ed in the past form. So let's think of our form here, or example. Last night, I read an entire novel. Okay, so I read. The form here, with all the pronouns, all the subjective pronouns, we use the verb or in the past form, and here we say I read, you read, we read, they read, and he read, and she read, and even. Okay, so we think of such type of forms. Okay, it drank. Okay, And for the past continuous, here we think of some type of action that was happening, some action that was happening in some period or time in the past. Okay, so for example here, I was reading Great Expectations last night. I was reading Great Expectations last night. Great Expectations is one of the novels, okay, one of the famous or non, yes, English novels, okay, it's written by Charles Dickens, okay. So I was reading Great Expectations when? Last night. So he explain or he tell us, okay, or even describe some moment, okay, in the past, okay. I was reading. So when we think of I, he, she, it, we use was plus verb plus ing. You, we, and they, we use with them were plus verb plus ing, W-E-R. The next form is past perfect. The next tense, sorry, is the past perfect tense. For example, here, before example, okay, we should think of the form, okay, when we find he, she, it, or even I, you, we, they, all of the pronouns, okay, we should use with them had plus past participle form. So he will say, and in this example, I had read at least 100 books by the time I was 12. Okay. Past perfect continuous. This is the fourth type of past tenses. Here also we have the same form, okay? All the pronouns, all the subjective pronouns are you, we, they, and he, she, it, plus had, them, plus been, plus verb, plus ing. Okay, so for example, I had been reading for at least a year before my sister learned to read. Okay, so this is the past tenses. Okay, these were the past tenses. What about future? The third type of tenses. The future simple, or in the future, we have the future simple. Okay, and historically we have will and shall plus verb infinitive, verb without any additional, yes, forms. Okay, so here we'll say in the modern form, okay, all the pronouns plus apostrophe double L. Okay, so here we'll think of this form. I will read as much as I can this year. Okay, was this year. And when I say future simple, that means we are talking about some action that happened in the future, maybe tomorrow, okay, tonight, or even next week, next month, okay, next Friday. So think of the future form here. For such type of forms, we should think of using will or shall plus what? Plus verb infinitive. The next form is the form, or sorry, the next tense is the tense which known as future continuous. I will be reading things fall apart soon. I will be reading things fall apart soon. So he would think of things fall apart as the name of some novel, okay, which written by Chinua Achebe, the famous Nigerian writer. Okay, so I will be reading things fall apart soon. Okay, so soon, okay, it's one of the markers, okay, for future continuous. The third tense of future, or the third future tense, is future perfect. And future perfect, we have this form: I will I will have read. Also, I will have read. Okay, we think of the form of future will and the form of perfect have and the past participle. So I will have read at least 500 books by the end of the year. Okay. Uh, the fourth or the last tense of future is known as what? Future perfect continuous. This form include will plus have plus been plus verb plus ing. So will plus have plus been plus verb plus ing. So we think of the form I will have been reading for at least 2 hours before dinner tonight. So we think of this form here, will have been plus verb plus ing is reading, even should be colored, okay, in the form of future perfect continuous. So here we have about 12 tenses distributed, yes, in the forms of present, or sorry, the tenses of present and past and even future. We cover the most general, yes, forms, okay, together. And later we will focus on the most important that maybe we need them in our study, okay, even. So the most useful, okay, inshallah, we are going to cover them in more details, inshallah, in our next lectures, inshallah. Now, thank you for joining my lecture today, and see you, inshallah, soon in some other lecture, inshallah. Goodbye.